Hey y'all, hey, it's Mrs. Yao again, back with our next lesson on character response. So let's go ahead again and review our anchor charts. So character response, remember, is what the character does because of an event that happens in a story. The event is going to be some kind of challenge or problem, and the response is the action or the what or the I guess I should say not the what, but the thoughts, the feelings, or what the character says because of the event and how they respond to it. So, our little example at the bottom, it's so hot outside that no one wants to go outside. So, our friend Julie solved the problem by jumping into an ice cold pool. All right, and this is the anchor chart that I like the best. A character response is what a character does because of the events that happen in the story. A challenge is something that causes a problem for the character, so it's going to be the event. And the response is what the character does, feels, thinks, or says. So our friend here, let's just call her Sarah. Sarah is outside and it starts to rain. She responds by thinking that she needs to get her rain boots and her umbrella. So Sarah puts on her rain boots and umbrella, so now she's no longer getting wet. So that's how she solved her problem. All right, so this week we've worked through pinata problems, we've worked through summer in the garden yesterday, and now we're going to work through first time in New York City. I've never been to New York City. Have you guys been? I want to go so bad. It's on my bucket list for things that I want to do now that I'm getting really old. So I really want to go to New York City. So let's read this one. First time in NYC, which you guys know means New York City. The Johnson family always traveled to the beach during the summers. This summer, they decided to travel to a big city called New York City. Mrs. Johnson told Mr. Johnson that they would really need a map. Mr. Johnson said they would be able to find their way around without one. They wanted to find Times Square. They walked around for the busy streets for 2 hours. Finally, Mr. Johnson said they were lost. Mrs. Johnson rolled her eyes and said, "I told you so." She ran into one of the stores and came out with a city map. After quickly looking at the map, Mrs. Johnson knew which way to go. All right, let me escape so I can go back down and start typing in. All right, let me move myself over here out of the way and make this guy smaller. All right, so our first question is identify the character and setting of the story. All right, who were the characters in the story? Tell someone right now. Tell your teacher, your neighbor, your mom or dad, whoever you're with. Tell them the characters. All right, good. The characters are Mr. and Mrs. Johnson. I cannot spell. Jeez Louise. Okay. What's the setting of the story? Remember, setting is when and where a story takes place. That's right. The setting is New York City. I'm going to put the abbreviation since that's what it says on the story. So New York City. All right, so let's go back up and we're looking for the character's problem or the challenge. Okay, so look closely and then I want you to tell someone what the problem is and I will wait for you. Okay, if you need to pause before I go on, go ahead and pause if you're still looking. But for those of us that are ready, what is the problem? The problem is they wanted to find Times Square, but they were what? They were lost. You got it. So let's go back down to the problem, and I might be able to fit this in. problem is they want to find Times Square, but they are lost. All right, let's look at how the characters solved the problem. So we're looking at Mr. and Mrs. Johnson's actions. We're looking at things that Mr. and Mrs. Johnson say, things that ways that Mr. and Mrs. Johnson feel, and things that they think. So I'm going to go here. They wanted to find Times Square. They walked around for the busy street for 2 hours. Finally, Mr. Johnson said that they were lost. So that is our first story so far that we've had in our videos that we had to say. So let's go down and I'm gonna have to make this small. I can tell already because we're gonna have lots of different things here. We're gonna say, Mr. Johnson said they were lost. All right, let's go back up. All right. Mrs. Johnson rolled her eyes. Uh-oh, is that an action, a thought, a feeling, or a say? That's an action, but let's finish that sentence. And said, I told you so. So that is an action of a do and a say. Let's add that. So let's say, Mrs. Johnson. I don't know why I keep writing Mrs. Howe. Jeez Louise. Mrs. Johnson rolled her eyes and said those famous last words. I told you so. You know, that's every woman. We have to do that to our husbands. If we get lost, we have to say, I told you so. All right, so let's go back up and let's see what else happened. She ran into one of the stores and came out with a city map. Is that a do, a say, a think, or a feel? That's a do. So she went and got a map. Sounds like a good solution to the problem to me. I'm just going to say she because we know we're talking about Mrs. Johnson, and that's who the last sentence was about. She got a map from a nearby store. Ooh, not a nearby story, a nearby store. Mrs. Ow, come on, get it together. All right, after quickly looking at the map, Mrs. Johnson knew which way to go. All right, is that a thought, a feeling, a do, or a say? All right, let's go back and let's add it. So, Mrs. Johnson, or I can say she again on this one. She looked at the map, so that's an action, and she knew which way to go. All right, they didn't tell us whether they actually made it to Times Square. Do you think they did? Yeah, I think they did too. They had a map. So once they looked at the map and knew which way to go, I think they probably made it. So now if I ever go to New York City, I know I need to get a what? Yes, I need to get a map so I make sure I do not get lost. All right, let me go over here and show you what you are going to do for your assignment for today. So for today, oops, wrong one. Sorry, that was yesterday's. All right, guys, so for today, you are going to be reading the story, Where Are the Animals? We've learned about animals this year, so we just tied everything into domain. Miss Moturnick will be so happy that we're doing some tying things in. So today you're going to look at Where Are the Animals? You are going to identify the character's setting, look for the character's problem or challenge, and then describe how the character solved the problem by looking at what they did, what they thought, what they felt, or what they said. All right, guys, you are getting to be character response experts. You're doing a great job. Thanks for your help again today. I will see you later. I'll see you when I see you. Bye, friends.